Hello. Oh shit, wrong button. Hello everyone and welcome back to SteemTrail Gaming News. Today is the 9th of July 2018. My name is Kralizec and I will be your very bad host today because I screw up literally in like the first second. Oh god, I'm not good at this. You probably noticed that already, but who gives a damn? Let's talk about today's news, and we only have one piece to really talk about today. Let's talk about Tencent as they plan to bring their store to international market. So this story was initially reported on by the South China Morning Post, and most of you will actually not notice, but Tencent is one of the largest gaming companies in the world. I made a commentary about this on my personal channel about, I think, a month ago, just describing how much of the gaming industry is actually freaking owned by Tencent, and how large they actually are, and how many investments they make, etc., etc. And you would be honestly baffled by just the sheer size of this corporation. Like, I think it was like something like 70% of all investments that were made last year had some involvement by Tencent, and about 40% of the sheer value of the investments was made by Tencent. And they're the owners of studios such as Riot, you know, the producers of probably the biggest esports title there is, League of Legends. They even own mobile studios. They own Supercell pretty much, which, if you don't know, are the producers of the mobile hits Clash of Clans or Clash Royale. So yeah, they're freaking big. But so far they've only really been big when it comes to the consumer market in China, where they have their social media platform or digital store, something similar to Steam, that is called WeGame, or that's at least how it's been rebranded last year. And when the first rumors about them coming to the Western markets have sparked, but now we know that it is actually going to be true. The Tencent spokesperson told the South China Morning Post, the Hong Kong version of WeGame is now under development. This version will be available for overseas users, and we will use this platform to bring more Chinese games to the global market. And yeah, that is actually, I think, good news. As if you watch my commentary, so far Tencent has been mostly a positive influence on the game market. They haven't really done anything, I would say, Sith Lordy. They aren't particularly dictatorial, and yeah, they have actually had some decent business practices. Obviously, their goal is to make money, and people tend to forget that that is the goal of companies, but I really don't care about the fact that they are making money. So at the moment, WeGame is a really small platform compared to Steam. To give you a bit of a scope, WeGame has 220 titles available, and that includes some games that are also available on Steam, let's say Don't Starve Together. But it also features some original titles made by Chinese developers, but compare that to the roughly 23,000 games. Yes, 23,000 games available on Steam. That's 2 orders of magnitude different. On the other hand, with the amount of money that Tencent has at its disposal and their involvement in many companies including Epic, Activision Blizzard, Robot Entertainment, Supercell, Riot Games, etc., etc., they could probably easily persuade those, or most of those developers and publishers to also use their store apart from Steam, bringing many AAA titles. And once AAA titles are there, indie games will come very soon as well. So what does this actually mean? It means that we may finally get a real competitor for Steam. Because let's face it, Steam or Valve is essentially a monopoly on the gaming market. Yes, there are competitors like Google Games, Uplay, and Blizzard's been pretty much ignoring them for the most part, but especially when it comes to smaller studios, if you are not on Steam, you are fucked. There's no other way to put it. If you are not on Steam and you want a sale, well, good luck to you, man. I really doubt you will succeed. But bringing a second platform, a second way to actually buy games, while maybe a bit worse for your average gamer, because suddenly you have to install 2 apps and you have to switch between them depending on the game you want to play, etc., 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 will actually promote the spirit of competition on the gaming market, on the gaming sale market. And I know Steam has been surprisingly generous for the fact that they essentially own the market, and it's one of the reasons why they do own the market in such a huge margin. Their sales are, well, everybody loves their sales apart from our wallets. But maybe having a competitor could force them to, how to call it, be even more aggressive when it comes to their sales. And I do know that does sound bonkers. Like, instead of a 75% sale, maybe we could get 90% sales. Or instead of having a few big sales around a year, maybe we could like have decently sized sales all year round. And honestly, I think I would prefer that, to have sales all year round instead of just, you know, oh, I have to buy all the games because now there is the sale, and if I don't buy now, I will run out of money. Just give me an option to buy the game whenever I want at a better price. And what I'm hoping that will happen also is that it will actually keep the game prices where they are right now. Because let's face it, games have gotten much more expensive to make over time. Yet their prices have stayed pretty much the same. Your AAA title is still $60 if you don't count any DLC or any microtransactions. And especially for single player games, you pretty much don't care about that apart from DLC. But we used to have expansion packs back in the day and nobody was concerned about them, so I'm not really concerned about those either way. But still, instead of a game costing, okay, I'm just going to spew random numbers. Let's say $1 million to make. It costs $100 million to make. So you essentially have to sell 100 times more copies just to make profit. And that's no easy thing to do, especially for big budget production as AAA and even AA titles are. And the only way we can even hope to keep the prices at this point is if competition comes to the market and the companies are forced to compete with their prices instead of relying on essentially a single one market that, well, you know, if we're on Steam, we're fine. So I'm really hoping that this pans out well, that it will not be the first, again, Sith Lordy move from Tencent, because so far they have actually been pretty decent. Surprisingly so. But who knows? We will have to see the future to actually know what happens in it. And we will have to live through it. And with that being said, that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, please consider giving us a thumbs up here on YouTube and subscribing to the channel. If you are watching on Steam, maybe you want to give us an upvote and follow the blog. Either way, be sure to leave a comment and be sure to tune in tomorrow for more gaming news, as we are your source of daily gaming news every single day. See you guys later with more gaming content.